I'm not going to lie to you. There is a lot of heavy news out there. And, as things go with the NHL, so goes the show, right? We have to talk about, this is what this show does. We talk about the big news. And the Leafs also didn't help us out with a super slow start against LA on Monday night. So we can talk about that too.
I was telling Jesse, I watched the Leafs lose 5-1. I played the Rick Westhead interview and cried on the way home. So that was my night. Yeah. It's hockey's just sad.
Right now. Well, and what's surprising to me, and we'll talk about some of the stuff, the John Doe 2 interview is just gutting. But what's amazing is the lack of concern that the NHL seems to have about any of it. And it seems like the one good thing that they did, and this is according to Emily Kaplan, and we're going to get to the Anaheim Ducks situation to kick this off, because I think this is not where we are, but where we are hopefully going. Bob Murray, by the way, was suspended by the Anaheim Ducks after an investigation so they could do a further investigation into claims of impropriety. Now, at the time, we didn't know what that meant, but what we have found out since is there seems to have been, he's a hothead, and a hothead in the worst way. We're talking emotional abuse here. So, according to Emily Kaplan, she said, Bob Murray doesn't sound like one singular incident led the Ducks to put their GM on administrative leave, but rather his behavior towards staffers and what one source called, quote, abusive culture. A source says that all the initial complaints involve verbal abuse. There is no time frame for his investigation. The team intends to see it through, but there was enough evidence in the early interviews to suggest that Murray was not fit to continue in his current role. So they kicked off the investigation, they did the interviews, and enough people said, this guy cannot work for this person. The Ducks are on the road right now, and the plan is for Murray to return to Anaheim. And this is the most important tweet of this thread. Emily has been absolutely on fire, by the way. She's the best. I'm so sad that ESPN didn't have rights to this before, because Emily is a treasure. Listen to this. The NHL sent a memo after the Blackhawks case and basically told teams, if you know of any abuse, you must report it. Sounds like that led some in the Ducks organization to question Bob Murray's behavior. Some allegations may be years old, but people feel more empowered to speak up now. And this is the one good thing that I'll give you have to give credit where it's due. The one good thing that the NHL has done here is they sent out that memo and they said, if you see abuse, you must report it. And for the first time, I think that people believe them. And, when the Ducks put Bob Murray on administrative leave, they did the right thing. The right thing to do, which we all saw with Quenneville and Bowman and everybody else, the right thing to do is put them on administrative leave, let the investigation happen, and then decide whether or not they can come back to work. That's not what the Hawks did. That's not what the Jets did. That's not what the Panthers did. That's not what Montreal did. I mean, all of those people, rightfully so. I think we all have the right to say, hey, all of these people should have been on administrative leave until this happened. What the Ducks did is the right thing. You take them out of the situation, you figure out what happened, and then you look at it.
And, by the end of it, we may not think they did the right thing.
But at least initially, this move right here to pull him out until the investigation is complete is the right move.
I totally agree. So the best thing is for it not to happen at all. Okay, well, we're well past that. The second best thing is to catch it right away, which often doesn't happen. The third best thing is to catch it as soon as possible, which it sounds like they did. So I was on my phone, trying to check for something else.
That's all good.
Greg Wyshynski said the lack of surprise from sources about Bob Murray being placed on leave and being investigated is jarring, not in the sense that they knew this was coming, but more about the individual at the center of it. And another tweet, text from longtime NHL team exec about Ducks GM Bob Murray. His managerial style has always been negativity, and adds colorfully, he's an asshole and got caught.
I've heard that.
About Bob Murray?
Heard that, and but you always have to be careful, because when you call someone an asshole, it's a lot of the times there's perspective. What's the context, right? And in this particular, like people have called me an asshole. I'm not an asshole like Bob Murray's an asshole.
Are you an asshole because people disagree with you? Are you an asshole because you were prickly once? Are you an asshole because you don't want people to talk to you before your coffee? Or are you an asshole because you're an asshole and you go around and just be an asshole to everybody?
Yeah.
I also, I got a message from someone else who was like, oh yeah, totally not shocked.
It was funny. It was in some of the the people connected with the game that I talked to. They right away said, oh, I bet it's this.
Really interesting.
And it comes out that it seems like it is. Although the Ducks and the NHL have not spoken on this. Obviously, it's being reported.
I don't want to just start chucking names out there or change the subject, but the first thing I thought of was the Katie Strang article about the Arizona Coyotes.
Why is that?
Well, because where's that investigation? Like, based on
was there an investigation done, or was it just Katie doing the investigation? I don't know that there was. Was there supposed to be some sort of follow up?
I don't know if there was something formally released, and I'm not trying to get everybody in trouble. And you know, I'm not trying to create more work for people here, but there's a reckoning happening here, and it's not good that we're like, oh yeah, not surprised, but it's good that we're taking a look at the lack of surprise and trying to weed out the right things by the sounds of it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's, I don't know, better now than later. Better now than later. You know, tackling these subjects. But I didn't expect the Ducks to be first, but it looks like we're on pace to go in alphabetical order. Because if it's him, then I would assume Arizona's next.
You think so?
I mean, there's a pre-existing article out there that we all just sort of forgot about because it wasn't at a great.
It was at the darkest period of the second wave, I think, right? Was it not January last year or this year that it came out?
I don't remember. December? I thought it was during the off season. Time doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think it wasn't it like August or something like that.
Last year?
Oh wait, the winter would have been the off season.
Yeah, it would have been like fall of last year. No, would it not?
Right.
So maybe it was the 2020 off season.
Yeah, it was the 2020 off season for sure.
So
like around this time last year.
So it was okay.
God, can you imagine we were in off season last time?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Oh boy.
I know.
Sorry to interrupt, but
no.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my God. Sorry, you're just making me process my life from the past year. But it was. I guess it didn't get the full attention it deserved because it was an off-season news item, which are kind of hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of the first things I thought of. Because if you're not surprised by that, I mean, I would see an investigation into Arizona. Like it's at least, I'm not calling for people's jobs here, but it is at very least, based on that article, worth looking into. Hey, are we doing things the right way? If they've already done the investigation, great. If they've improved their ways, great. But we have a reckoning here.